Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. We got a great show for you today, as usual, and we're coming off a great day yesterday. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get things started. Oh, here we go. We've mentioned it in the chat already. Clean sweep prop stars, buckets, the SportsLine picks, Mackenzie Brooks, 5-0. We were coming off our first losing day in 2 weeks for yesterday's recap screen, which would have been the Friday show. That was our first losing screen in 2 weeks, and we bounced back with a 5-0 record. No pressure to the team here on a Tuesday on the Early Edge, but let's go ahead and bring them in and see if they can maybe replicate what we did yesterday. We got some SportsLine picks too, so the pressure's not just on you all, Tom Casale, Mikey B, Buckets. Tom, I do want to start with you. We're closer and closer to college basketball. We got another 12:30 show today, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. How you feeling about March Madness?
I feel good. You know, it's these days are these couple of days are always my busiest of the year. I look forward to Thursday where we kind of ease in, watch some of the games. You know, I always say about March Madness though is I prefer to bet the second round, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8. It all starts over. Like, I know Florida looked great last week. It means nothing. It means nothing. You know, and we had people in the chat yesterday talking about a game that happened in November. It all starts over. So I want to watch some of these games, some of these matchups, see some of these teams. Do they like the arenas? You know, that's a big one. Like, we'll see that tonight in Dayton. Do they like shooting at the rims? So, you know, I know everyone wants to dive in and bet a ton of money, but I used to do that, and I had to leave the state, so and ditch some bookies. So ease in, let's see what happens, and then we'll make our moves.
Buckets, that reminds me of a tweet, which we don't need to recap, that you put out yesterday. And sort of the subtext of the tweet was, hey, we're doing this to have fun. We can celebrate our wins. We can celebrate our 5-0s. Like Rick Funcannon says, EE is on the Early Edge is on a heater. Joe Neuenfeld says, perfect day yesterday. You had a nice live betting day a couple of days ago, I believe, and we're celebrating that. This is supposed to be fun, right?
I think so. Maybe I've been doing it wrong for the last 3 years, but I've had fun every single day I've gambled because I'm doing it responsibly and I'm having fun with it. Sia, the exact tweet, I won't quote it, but a guy told me that I was a baby and needed to act like an adult because I was celebrating. What do you say? I was like a toddler catching tadpoles in a lake. When I saw it was something weird, man.
It was the weirdest analogy ever.
I have no idea.
Like nobody like was thinking, hey, that was a real good one, buddy. But either way, I think the bet responsibly part, and what Tom Casale said too. I mean, we're headed into March Madness. It's one of the biggest betting days of the season, Thursday and Friday, and into the rest of the tournament. But bet responsibly, and what that actually means is, you know, don't bet what you can't handle to lose. And if you do, it's just not going to be fun. Whether you win or lose, it's not going to be fun if you're not betting responsibly. So just keep that in mind. Have fun with this. Mikey B, the NBA slate. This time of year, I always have to ask you, like, is it a weird day today in the NBA? Is it a normal day? What are we looking at today?
Yeah, that was a perfect segue after the bet responsibly, because we have less than 30 days left in the NBA regular season. And teams are tanking with full force. They're playing their starters like 12 minutes. Whenever you see a when you see a game between two bad teams, just assume none of the starters are going to play more than 30 minutes because they're benching everybody. So this is a time to be very careful. Maybe keep some of those winnings, put them in your pocket for when the playoffs come around and we actually know which guys are going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, speaking of playing, we're playing ball in the MLB. It's over, not in the United States quite yet, but I guess it was the Cubs-Dodgers. That game, I think, concluded this morning. Tune in, by the way, to the MLB futures streams, which are still very relevant, that we've done two over the last couple of weeks. But more importantly, you're going to have Matt Snyder in here. You're going to have A-Mags. You're going to have Mike McClure and some of the other baseball guys in here on the Early Edge as we start heading towards opening day. So very much there's just a ton to look forward to. But let's get to some picks. Buckets, we're going to start with you. What's going on in soccer today?
We are still starting off the international break. So as I mentioned yesterday, we don't have a lot of the big leagues and big names we're used to seeing. So we got to do exactly what we did yesterday. Go to some of these smaller leagues to help us find good value. And I found one once again, Sia, that is plus odds, but is going to be in a league that maybe a lot of us haven't bet on too much before. We're going to the North Ireland Football League, or the North Ireland Premiership. And we've got a great game taking place between Glentoran and Larne. And I am a firm believer that the books do not care about this game. They are too busy focused on MLB coming back, on March Madness starting, on all these other massive sports, that they're kind of ignoring the lines that we see in the North Ireland Premiership. We're going with Larne, draw, no bet here at plus 115, plus odds for a team that I think, frankly, wins this outright. And if you look to the head-to-head and recent history, that backs me. Larne just has Glentoran's number for some reason. If you look at the recent matches played, a 2-0 victory, 2-0 victory, 2-1 victory, 3-0 victory, 2-1 victory, 2-1 victory, 2-0 victory. Well, this is a team that absolutely dominates this Glentoran side and have for years now. And this isn't like the Premier League where they play maybe twice a year. Glentoran and Larne played 6 times last season. They have a lot of experience against each other. I think Larne is the better team at home or on the road, and we should not be able to get plus odds on this one, Sia.
All right. Larne, draw, no bet at plus 115. Tom, I do want to get to your bet, but Mikey B, there's already a question in here for you. And I think it's a question on the side here. Mikey B, this is from KC3. What do you think about the Dubs? Of course, that's the Warriors bouncing back after a loss to the Nuggets yesterday. The line is plus 3.5.
So after the game, Steve Kerr came out and said Steph Curry is exhausted. This is now the second game of a back-to-back set. I want no part of this game, betting this in the morning, because I don't know if Steph Curry is going to play. I would probably lean towards taking the Bucks to cover, simply because they're still fighting for playoff seeding. I mean, so are the Warriors too, but at least it's not a back-to-back set for them. I don't know. I'm worried about Steph Curry playing tonight, so I would lean towards the the Bucks covering.
And when do we find out officially if Steph is playing? Is it an hour and a half before game time?
I mean, they're scratching guys like 5 minutes before a game starts.
Fair enough.
There's guys that I think it was Walker Kessler the other day. He was active for the Jazz, not on the injury report whatsoever, just didn't play. So, I mean, we're dealing with some of these things right now too.
Right. That game, by the way, is at 10:10 Eastern time. If you want to wait it out and see who gets scratched and who doesn't. Buckets, go ahead.
Real quick, Mikey, is that not regulated? Like in soccer, lineups have to come out an hour before. Like they're obligated to do that no matter what. You don't have to do that in basketball?
They can scratch guys whenever they want. They can pull guys at any point. There was the Jazz, Lauri Markkanen didn't come out for the second half of one game. I mean, and these guys can bench anybody at any point. It's not.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Sounds awful.
It's a good point, because you could have a guy playing and he just doesn't play the second half at all, like a starter. Yep. It's super strange, super difficult to bet on. And honestly, from a fan perspective, I don't think that's super cool either for you to show up to a game and a guy gets scratched 5 minutes early, only plays 12 minutes or something like that. I mean, I feel like the NBA has a lot to fix, and they could maybe look to some of the other leagues to do that. Let's turn to college basketball. Tom, before I get to your pick, and it's a pick on a game tonight, I want to remind everybody, we had an hour and a half bracket stream. We were like filling in the brackets. It was me. I was really just hosting. It was Tom Casale. It was Chip Patterson, Mike McClure, Zach Simony, Larry Hartstein. We went through every game. We filled out an entire bracket. We kind of used some of the picks from the chat as well. If you want to go back and watch that, I would recommend watching it as opposed to listening to it, because we had a lot of stuff up on screen. But either way, that's in your feed. But today we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it from a betting standpoint. We're going to get our best bets from each region, particularly in the first round, maybe some futures. But again, that's today at 12:30. It's going to be me. It's going to be Tom, who you see right here, Larry Hartstein, Mike McClure, and Chip Patterson. It's going to be our best bets for the first round of the tournament and beyond. And again, it all starts at 12:30 on this SportsLine YouTube channel. What a graphic right there. What a great graphic from Ben. All right, Tom. Speaking of the tournament, we have these play-in games. We have a team in San Diego State that not a lot of people respect. We got a team in UNC that not a lot of people respect. We've got some picks in the chat. Some people like UNC laying the points. Some people like San Diego State. But you like a team total under.
Yeah, listen, I don't have a strong play tonight. The first four, those are kind of tough games to read, I think. But we often see these games kind of ugly. you know, and I can see this UNC San Diego State game being ugly. If you look at UNC, their defense has played well. Their last 3 opponents, not named Duke, they held under 70 points. And I thought they played well against Duke, and that wasn't there. But, you know, so I think whether UNC wins or loses this game, it could be an ugly offensive game. We know San Diego State plays great defense. And I think what you're looking at here, what's going to get us this under is that first 10 minutes. Usually the first 10 minutes in Dayton, teams are struggling to shoot the ball. So 69.5, that felt a little high for me with San Diego State. Win or lose, I don't know if they get to 70. So I like the under there. And hey, listen, we got it. Like I said, we got a huge 2 weeks. I love the second round of the tournament. That's my time where I make my biggest picks. And if you haven't signed up yet, listen, I hate touting my record all the time, but I'm like 86, 45-1 in college basketball picks since I've been here. I'm on a 22-5 run. You can use code Casale and you can get 50% off any subscription. And I'll tell you, besides picks, guys, what I think is valuable is our Discord. I've had people send me messages and say, hey, listen, the Discord is worth the price of admission because we're always helping people out. We're giving them more information. We're helping them with bets we might not even give out. So, you know, we got a long 2 weeks. I like under San Diego State team total tonight, but we're going to get rolling here soon.
It's really incredible, like the Discord part of this too. And some people might be like, yeah, I would love the Discord for March Madness when things are sort of ever changing and the matchups that you want to highlight that, again, you can put picks out, but people have questions about other nuanced things in games and hypothetical games that are coming up. Again, discord.gg/SportsLine. It's for all SportsLine members. But the other thing too is what people need to really appreciate is that we're covering all sports, right? Now, Tom, you do college football. We got MLB coming up, so there's going to be people in that chat as well. There's just so much going on all the time, right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm going to give Mikey B a plug here. Like somebody signed up, they used that code, they started because they follow me. They've been following me for years. I got a text the other day that said, hey, I started following these NBA guys. This Mike Barner's phenomenal. So that's the thing. Like you get everything for, and that I just thought that was funny because he said I don't typically bet NBA, but I've been betting this Mike Barner's player props. This guy doesn't lose.
Boy, my cousin's the best, isn't he?
That's a true story. That was an honest to God text I got from somebody.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot going on at sportsline.com. Again, if you go to sportsline.com/join and you type in the promo code winners, you'll become a member of Sportsline. But let's type in a promo code Casale, right? Because that's tell me about the promo code one more time.
Casale, and it's 50% off any subscription you want.
Any subscription you want. Absolutely love that. All right. Promo code Casale at sportsline.com/join. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a BetMGM promo, and then we're going to get to some more SportsLine picks. We got 3 SportsLine picks, but let me real quick read you this promo because it's a new one. BetMGM will be giving out $250,000 in bonus bets for each round of March matchups. You can make predictions on game outcomes and over-unders. You'll earn points based on a scoring system, and you could win a share of $250,000 in bonus bets based on your points earned. Just make sure to enter the March matchups $250,000 pick'em free-to-play game on BetMGM. BetMGM is also giving out an odds boost token on the first 4 games today and tomorrow. Use your token to score bigger payouts if your first 4 bet wins. All right, speaking of, let's get to the SportsLine picks before we get to Mikey B and to my golf pick. We got Wichita State +6. This is the NIT. This is from the Maestro. Speaking of guys that have been red hot, the Maestro has been absolutely on fire. He likes Wichita State tonight +6. Then we go to the first 4. Zach Simney is laying the points with UNC. North Carolina, perhaps a chip on their shoulder with all the chatter that they've been hearing over the last couple of days. -4.5 at -104. Maybe that bounces down to -4. I don't know. But either way, it's -104 at -4.5. And then we're going back to the NHL, just like we did yesterday. We cashed that bet. This one, we're going with Jeff Hockman and the Ottawa Senators on the road, money line -133. All right, that's 3 SportsLine picks. We got a pick from Buckets. We got a pick from Tom. We got 2 picks coming from Mikey B. And we've got 1 pick that I'm going to advise to exercise maybe a little bit of caution on. I'll explain right after this message from our partners.
Well, you need your sports news anywhere?
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Chuck Descalo says, up 30 units on Barner's picks since I've been tagging my bets, which was just a few months ago. I guess your cousin is also in the chat.
That's
Love
my
to hear
uncle.
that.
Thanks, Uncle
That's your
Chuck.
uncle.
I'll see you on Easter. Thanks, Chuck.
And then we've got Ray Garcia said, oh, no, it's not. It's Jacob Sane that says, just here to make sure Buckets is getting proper love and adulation. Buckets, are you feeling the love?
Yeah, there's my uncle as well. So I appreciate you jumping into the chat. All the family here helping out. I'm feeling the love.
All these shadow accounts. I don't know how you guys are multitasking, but it's very impressive. Okay, we've got the early wedge tonight at 7 o'clock. It's me, it's Patrick McDonald, it's Eric Cohen, who hosts and is an analyst on that show. And who am I leaving out? Oh, of course, Jason Sobel is on that betting show as well. A great addition to the early wedge. I've got picks that I'm going to have for that show. And those picks are going to be a little bit more refined. And the reason I say that is because we may have some wind out at the Valspar. And what that is going to do is it's probably going to benefit the guys that are going out Thursday morning and Friday afternoon. If you're going out, just if you're new to golf, if you go out Thursday morning, in round 2, you're always going to go out Friday afternoon. And if you go out Thursday afternoon, you're Friday morning, you're always going to go out Friday morning. So that's just sort of how the waves work. We might have some wind issues that are actually going to benefit the Thursday AM guys, the guys that are going out Thursday morning and Friday afternoon. It's the same group. We might get a wind advantage with that group. With that said, I still like a play, but what I'm going to recommend is that for now, if you want to take this play, maybe put a half unit on it. It's a plus money play, and I think regardless of the guy that I'm backing, regardless of whether he's in the wrong wind wave, I think he wins this nationality prop, this top in region prop, and it's Corey Connors. But again, tee times come out at 1 o'clock, so that's when I think we're going to have a better idea of who's going to get the benefit of the wind advantage. But Corey Connors as top Canadian at plus 115. This is an Eric Cohen special. He's been playing this over the last 2 weeks. I'm jumping on board because I love who he's up against. The last 2 tournaments, Corey Connors has been up against, again, all the Canadians, of course, but it's always included Nick Taylor. And that's a guy that I've feared because his form has been really good lately. Well, Nick Taylor's not playing in this tournament. So the guys he's going against, we're talking like Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Hadwin, Ben Silverman. There's a couple of other names that I'm leaving out here, but the long and short of it is none of those guys are playing well at all. Adam Hadwin has some good history here, but his metrics aren't good. Mackenzie Hughes hasn't been playing well. Corey Connors is playing really well, especially over the last 2 tournaments. So at plus 115, top Canadian, really like Corey Connors here. All right. That's my pick. Again, we can wait until after tee times to maybe put a full unit on that. I do think this is worth a half unit now, but I got to be honest, you can wait. I don't think this number is going to change dramatically by any stretch. So I just wanted to put that number out there. More picks on the early wedge tonight. Mikey B, you've got 2 NBA picks to give us. What are they?
All right. The key in the NBA is finding situations that matter and teams that have no depth. So the first, we're going to go to a situation that matters. Clippers-Cavaliers game. We're going to do Norman Powell over 15.5 points at minus 127. This game matters for both teams playing playoff seeding, especially the Clippers. Now, Powell, he had just 7 points against the Hornets on Sunday. That was his first game back from a hamstring injury. 2 things. He only played 23 minutes because the Clippers blew out the Hornets, blew them out. He also shot just 3 for 13 from the field, which is not the norm for him. I expect this to be a much closer game against the Cavaliers. Powell's averaging 23.4 points per game this season. He's shooting just over 50% from the field at home. I think he plays close to 30 minutes in this game, and he goes over 15.5 points. And now we're going to go to a team that has limited depth. The Nets are playing the Celtics tonight. We're going to go Keon Johnson over 11.5 points. Who's that, Mike? Well, Keon Johnson is a guy that's going to benefit from Cam Thomas being out for the season with a hamstring injury. So we should see more minutes and shot attempts for Johnson. The last 2 games that Thomas missed, Johnson had at least 21 points in both of them. That included a game against the Celtics, who he's playing again tonight. Going back a little bit further, Johnson has scored at least 18 points in each of the last 3 games that Cam Thomas has missed. He shoots for a terrible percentage, but he should play a lot and have extra shot attempts. So we'll go over 11.5 points for Keon Johnson.
All right, absolutely love it. As I'm looking at the chat here, love both of those picks. Liddy says, Liddy, a longtime fan of the show. Liddy says, Sia, your entire team kicks butt. Absolutely love to see that. I was trading some words there, but either way, I appreciate the compliment. Let's see. There was another one about, I can't remember. One of you was getting complimented. Buckets, is there anything soccer-wise that you saw in the chat worthy of addressing?
Honestly, not really today. There's just not a ton of big matches. I will say, if you were looking to bet on the Women's Champions League, there are 2 matches taking place today, and I like the over on both of those. It's a little bit juiced, but there could be some fun parlay action there.
Okay. Patrick Caverly says, Sia, where do you find NIT picks on the site? Well, if you're talking about just like the regular Cappers picks, they'd be where all the other picks are. So I don't know if I'm not 100% sure I'm understanding your question, but like, for example, I know there's plenty of, if you look in the college basketball picks tab on SportsLine, you're going to see a bunch of picks for the NIT. You're going to see a bunch of picks for the first 4 games. And then, of course, we've got a bunch of picks for the Thursday and Friday games in there already. So those NIT picks would be where every other pick is. If you're talking about simulations and stuff like that, I'm not 100% sure because I don't even know if we're running that for the NIT, but I can check that for you. Again, I'm not 100% sure if that's what you're asking. Eric David answering the question in the same manner I did. NIT picks under each expert's pages, or you can just look at all experts under the college basketball tab and you'll see there. Nola face simulations for NIT. I'm not sure. I'm going to get back to you on that because honestly, I have no idea. It wouldn't shock me if we don't have those, but I will look into that for you. Let's see. RJ has said in Discord that NIT picks are not on the site because of an issue from their data provider. All right. Good to know.
Yeah,
Tom, go ahead.
They were on there last year. So I think it's just an issue that we're having right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, if that issue gets fixed, I will make sure, I'm sure we'll report it to everybody through all the channels, but I'll make sure I report it on the early edge. Tom, was there anything in the chat that you needed to address?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm always on Discord and Twitter. So if anyone has college basketball questions over the next few days, just feel free to send them my way.
All right. Scott Davis says, I'm 25-10 in hockey bets. Only 7 bets, not plus money. Okay, so you're taking plus. Well, good for you. That's good stuff, Scott Davis. I know you were kind of complaining later on in the comments about how we have a lot of minus plays in the NHL. A lot of them have been hitting. So, you don't have to take all our picks, but I can tell you that a lot of those minus plays that you're referring to have been hitting. But good for you. 25-10 is pretty great, especially if a lot of them are plus money. Steve Folkert says St. Francis under 65.5 first half. Tom, any thoughts on St. Francis?
Yeah, listen, I'm all for unders in the first 4.
Now this, we see the Alabama State game, right?
Yeah. The Alabama St. Francis game, and this is a betting theory in the whole tournament. Like in round 1, people love betting unders. I've seen it. I've seen teams get in these gyms. I mean, I've seen BYU do it twice against UCLA and Duquesne when they made the tournament. They couldn't make a shot at this neutral. So that does come into play. You have to kind of see if these players, that was one of the reasons why the kid from Oklahoma fears, I bet, his over points in the second game of the tournament. He couldn't miss in that gym in the first game. I want to see these kids shoot at these different places. And so unders are always popular in the NCAA tournament early.
Liddy is popular in my book. He says every time we get to 100 likes, we win. Must be good luck. I have stopped checking the likes this week because you guys and girls have been so good at hitting the like button that we're getting over. We usually have like maybe 400 or 500. We're getting over 100, which is a decent enough ratio. But again, Liddy, thanks for the reminder. Thank you everybody for hitting the like button. Get in here when you do. For every show that we do, hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it. We're going to see you at 12:30, by the way. So let's practice hitting the like button there as well. One more question before we get to the recap. So in KC3 says, another one, Mikey, if Steph doesn't play under 117 first half, seems like the play. Dubs are bottom 5 in first half scoring. Any thoughts there, Mikey Barner?
Yeah, I would agree. If you're watching Warriors games and you like live betting, if they're ever healthy and they're down at the half, they always come out of the half and just blow the other team's doors off in the third quarter. So they are a notoriously slow starting team. So if Steph is out, KC3, I do like that.
Okay. Looks like we're just on. Oh, now we're at 101 likes, says CLE fan. I'd love to see that. All right, let's take. That means we're gonna have a winning day again. Hopefully, we can. 5-0 was impressive yesterday. Let's have another winning day. Let's look at the recap screen to see how we're going to accomplish that. Now, my pick doesn't start until Thursday, and hopefully, for our sake, it doesn't end until Sunday. That would mean, of course, Corey Connors has made the cut and has concluded this top Canadian, top in region, top nationality play. That's plus 115. Again, tee times come out at 1 o'clock. I will get in the golf Discord after the tee times come out. It'll be after our 12:30 show. So around 1:30, 1:45, I'll get in. I'll let you know when Corey Connors' tee time is, and we can get just a little bit more validation on this pick. Norman Powell tonight over 15.5 points at minus 127, and Keon Johnson over 11.5 points at minus 115. Those, of course, are from Mikey B. And then we got Glentoran versus Larn. We've got Larn draw no bet at plus 115, another plus money play from Buckets. And then San Diego State team total under 69.5 at minus 125. That one courtesy of Tom Casale. Now we go to the SportsLine picks. Wichita State plus 6 at minus 110. That's from the Maestro. North Carolina minus 4.5 at minus 104. That's from Zach Simony. And in the NHL, Ottawa Senators money line minus 133 from Jeff Hockman. What a great show. Thank you, Buckets. Thank you, Mikey B. Thank you, Tom Casale. And Tom, I will see you at 12:30 for our live betting preview of round 1 for the NCAA tournament. Again, we're going to go region by region. It's going to be me and Tom and Mike McClure and Chip Patterson and Larry Hartstein. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out there, but if I am, you'll see at 12:30. So hopefully you can join us on this channel there. On behalf of these three, on behalf of Ben, on behalf of all of you, Joe Neuenfeld, Aaron Bailey, Liddy, David, KC3, so many people in this chat. Mr. Big, thanks for being in here. And we'll see you again at 12:30 and tomorrow, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. We do it every single morning. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We rest our case.